In the ever-dynamic realm of British entertainment, Sheree Winton's story is remarkable, blending the allure of the spotlight with personal tribulations. She gained recognition for performances in movies such as Dentist in the Chair and Rhubarb, and notably graced the screen in the James Bond film Thunderball alongside Sean Connery. Facts First presents the tragic death of Sheree Winton, her husband, and her son. Hardship and hurt early on. Sheree Winton's journey begins in 1935 in Sheffield, where she entered the world missing the presence of a steady paternal figure. Her parents' strained marriage dissolved in her early childhood, leaving a deep mark on Sheree. She found herself longing for stability at a young age. At just 17, she sought anchors through romance, marrying Dale Winton, who was nearly 20 years her senior. To join his Jewish faith in matrimony, she converted religions in the hopes this union could provide the structure she yearned for. But their marital bliss rapidly faded within several years. Constant turbulence rocked the relationship before its ultimate unraveling after 11 years through bitter divorce. Sheree was left grappling internally with the fact that once again, a foundational personal relationship had crumbled. As a single mother, she coped with the fallout of her failed marriage, and in 1955, her son Dale was born. Sheree poured her search for meaning into the arts and performance, seeking validation, admiration, and an escape through fame. She quickly transitioned from modeling to a blossoming acting career. With her sights set on Hollywood stardom, she hoped that public success could fill the void left by her private struggles. Dale's father, Gary, remained an ominous figure, casting a shadow over their household, despite being divorced from Sheree. Gary's strict temper and bullying ways instilled tremendous fear in young Dale rather than providing any comfort. This tension reached a disastrous climax when Gary unexpectedly passed away on Dale's bar mitzvah in 1968, the day marking Dale's entry into manhood. Mental health battles. In the 1960s, Sheree was known as an up-and-coming star in British television, but behind this public image, she struggled with long-standing personal demons. From a young age, growing up in broken homes and experiencing abandonment, Sheree battled privately with severe depression and suicidal thoughts. The extent of her distress unveiled itself when publicity-hungry Sheree was secretly hospitalized from a suicide attempt via pills during Dale's adolescent years. This chilling revelation shook 16-year-old Dale to the core, exposing frightening truths about his beloved mother's fragile psyche underneath the radiant exterior. In subsequent years, Dale helplessly bore witness to repeat suicide attempts, as well as warning signs like do not disturb notices on Sheree's bedroom door. Doctors underscored to devoted son Dale that Sheree demonstrated not merely desperate cries for help, but rather genuine repeated intentions to fatally harm herself. Ever patient and protective, adolescent Dale resolved to remain constantly vigilant over his mother's safety. He never stopped emotionally supporting her through unrelentingly dark and irrational mood spells. Fatal escalation. Despite Dale's loving support through many harrowing ordeals, Sheree found temporary peace impossible. Her depression and suicidal urges persisted even into middle age. Sadly, in May of 1976, just days after Dale's 21st birthday, further warning signals appeared that the end had come. A do not disturb notice hung once more on Sheree's door. Upon entering, Dale discovered the tragic scene of his mother's fatal barbiturate overdose. At just 39 years old, her tumultuous life came to an abrupt end, sending Dale into inconsolable grief. Many speculated Sheree was haunted by perceived fading beauty or a stalled acting career, but accounts show dedicated son Dale was her lifeline. In her suicide note, Sheree relayed regret over leaving Dale, along with practical requests like watering her plants. Clearly, Sheree loved and clung to Dale as depression overwhelmed her. In the aftermath, Dale courageously picked up the pieces while internalizing abandonment by two parents. Having relied on each other through harrowing times, the survivor's unexpected premature loss proved devastating. Inspiration and darkness. Raised motherless at only 21, Dale processed the depths of Sheree's anguish, but initially coped by suppressing emotions and avoiding introspection. Eventually, while achieving television fame, Dale unveiled a long-buried pain. He openly discussed Sheree's depression and suicide, even voicing regret about remaining closeted to her about his sexuality during her life. Clearly, she gifted beloved Dale deep creative passions, yet also shadows of her clinical mental illness. Dale came to view inheriting Sheree's darker parts as a fated piece of cherishing her vibrant spirit. He also continually managed propagating depression and irrational fears transferred genetically and environmentally by Sheree's trauma. Reconciliation and coping with grief. In subsequent decades, Dale opened up about grief over losing Sheree so unexpectedly. He relayed recurring fantasies into adulthood that she might walk through the door again. Publicly processing long-buried feelings proved cathartic for Dale's coping. He found resonance in fans sharing personal mental health and family losses. He also began to make greater peace through better understanding clinical depression's severe grip, forgiving Sheree and focusing more on beautiful parts of their mother and son bond. Dale also reflected on how necessary finding posthumous compassion was to avoid staying embittered. Holding on to anger about abandonment could have poisoned happy memories. Letting go allowed Dale's fond recall of nurturing times with Sheree to remain central, until his own lonely death, aged 62, performing and speaking openly kept Dale's link to his tragic yet still cherished mother thriving rather than painfully severed. Sheree's unfinished dreams. Sheree Winton's life and career were tragically cut short by suicide at age 39. Despite her promising acting career, including appearances in comedies and a cameo in a 1960s James Bond film, she was unable to reach her full potential due to her battle with depression. Even as she retained her beauty and expanded her versatile talents, the darkness in her mind led her to believe that the only relief from her pain was death rather than the hope of a better future. This final agonizing choice left her son Dale deeply affected. Following his mother's passing, Dale withdrew from show business to find stability. Eventually, he found inspiration in his mother's creative drive and desire for the spotlight. After years of hard work as a radio host, Dale achieved fame as the host of the popular 1990s game show Supermarket Sweep. Despite struggling with fear and lack of confidence, Dale gradually embraced the second chance that his mother never had, achieving television fame and national affection. He openly discussed his ongoing battle with depression, which he inherited from his mother. This openness became a central part of Dale's iconic persona. As son of the tragic actress Sheree Winton, Dale experienced the fleeting nature of fame, but also learned the value of perseverance. His success and candid discussions about mental health were a tribute to his mother, whom he deeply missed decades later. In many ways, achieving his long-buried career goals was Dale's way of honoring Sheree's unfulfilled professional and personal potential. Through his persistence and transparency, he paid homage to his mother's unrealized ambitions, while also conveying the message that one can rise proudly from the ashes of family tragedy, even though the lingering grief never fully fades. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Sheree Winton? What about Dale Winton? Let us know in the comments section below.